How do you do? Neil Martin is my name, and the Linenhall Arts Centre in Castlebar in Mayo have asked me to say a few words, share some thoughts and feelings and experiences in this very strange world, these very odd and bewildering times in which we find ourselves. My relationship with the Linenhall remains sadly virtual still. I was due to be playing there this week with the West Ocean String Quartet. We have a new album out, Atlantic Edge, and we were due to be playing at the start of the tour this week over in Mayo. Sadly, that and the entire tour has gone by the wayside, and we look forward to rekindling that when the world resettles itself and relevels and things get kind of plainer. And we look forward to that, and we will make that happen. So the theatre, the Linenhall, have asked me a few questions, if I might address a few questions. And the first one is, tell us a little bit about your artistic practice and how you started out. Well, primarily I'm a composer and a musician. That's what I do. Most of my time these days is composing, and a lot of that is orchestral, large-scale orchestral works, and a lot of chamber work as well, as in the West Ocean album. And I started out because my parents had an amazing record collection that I remember from the mid-1960s onwards. And it was the most extraordinary eclectic gathering of vinyl. The Beatles, Ry Cooder, Sean O'Reilly, Seamus Ennis, Kjoltery Colin, Bach, Mozart, Clockwork Orange film soundtrack. I remember original Parlophone handwritten discs, Louis Armstrong and the Hot Five from 1927. So it was a real healthy mix of different types of music. And then when I was about 5 or 6, my mother, I remember getting a piano into the house, and we started piano lessons. And a year or two after that, maybe when I was 6 or 7, I suppose, I took up the cello, and a year or two after that, tin whistle, and maybe a year after that again, uilleann pipes. We were very aware of traditional music from the record collection, but also my mother's late brother was Tomás O'Cannon, and he played in a group called Na Philly, and they would often perform in our house if they were up in Belfast. They were Cork-based, but they recorded in Belfast. So when they were up, they would play, and I got kind of caught by the bug of uilleann pipes. So my life then growing up through music was a really healthy mix of traditional music and classical music, and inevitably the two began to cross-fertilise at some stage, and I began to play traditional music on the cello and a lot of orchestral stuff on uilleann pipes. So it was all a very interesting journey, and I never had any problem with the two music forms. I thought they were very kind of companionable bedfellows, to be honest. I thought they worked very well together and complemented each other. And my work with the West Ocean String Quartet is that we inhabit a space somewhere between worlds. Yes, we're a classical quartet in that it's 2 violins, viola and cello, but the music that we play, and I write and arrange all our music, the music we play falls somewhere in between worlds, which is always a very interesting space to be, somewhere in the cracks. Next question is, what is your daily working routine? There is no such thing as an absolute regular day. If I'm at home, I try to get up reasonably early, 8 o'clock, 7:30, start working at 8 or half 8. And depends what I'm working on. Sometimes it could be orchestration that I like to get stuck into early in the morning. It could be stuff for the quartet, chamber music, and maybe I would have been working the night before. What I try and always do is leave a little bit of work to be done the next morning. So I might start something in the evening and then leave a little bit so that when I re-engage the next morning, I can get into it immediately. I know immediately where I need to go. And I find that helps the momentum and the rhythm of the day. And the next question asks, what am I working on right now? Well, I'm working on a violin concerto. The extraordinary thing about this concerto is that the soloist, in the concerto is going to be my eldest daughter, my firstborn kid, Maeve. She's a violinist and a pianist, and she's going to be the soloist in this concerto. The idea and the commission emanated from St Andrews University in Scotland, where Maeve was an undergrad, and they're having a new music school opening there, and the head of music, Michael Downs, asked if I would write something for Maeve and orchestra. So that's the work I have ongoing. They're in a lawa, as we say in Irish, between the hands at the moment. I'm going to stop. So typically I would begin by sketching out stuff with pencil and manuscript paper, and I would work on basic ideas there, and then I would input the orchestration into the computer. See there, concerto for Maeve, and you see the score coming up on the screen, and that's the way I work. And I work sat here at my piano. I have a beautiful piano, a Bechstein Model B rosewood cased piano. I'll give you a stronger look at it later. So I'm sat here every day at my beautiful piano, and I work away, and one of the questions is, in what ways has the COVID isolation affected or changed your artistic practice? Well, as a composer, I'm fairly used to a solitary existence, sitting here at the piano, working long hours, not leaving the house that often, because sometimes that's the demand that music makes on you. And if you have a deadline, there is no greater muse than somebody waiting for the delivery of a score so you get the work done. So I think I'm very lucky in that I have this major commission, this major piece that was scheduled for now anyway. I'm very lucky that I have that, because I think this is as much a mental game as a physical game. And I'm very thankful to be engaged, and that I'm used to the solitary lifestyle of the composer. I think I'm well enough equipped to deal with the isolation and the oddity of the COVID-19. And the next question asks, what advice would you give to someone who would like to explore their creativity and know where to start? Well, do you know what? Just start. That's what I honestly believe. If you want to be a composer, start composing, start writing music. If you want to be a writer, start writing a novel. If you want to be a poet, start writing poetry, painting, any of these things. We just must get into them. And I think we must immerse ourselves as deeply as possible in not alone our own art practice, but in as broad a gamut of influence, artistic influence as possible, because they all influence each other, and they sit very comfortably with each other, and we can learn as composers, we can learn from writers, we can learn from poets, we can learn from painters. So I think it's very important to just begin, get into your world and work extremely hard, because this is not an easy way to make a living as a creative artist. But if you're diseased enough by it, you have no choice. There is no alternative. You just must do it. And I wouldn't change anything. I've had and am having a most rewarding life through music. And, you know, of course there are rough patches where work isn't coming through as quickly as you would like it, but that's just part of the job that you buy into. So go at it, and go at it wholeheartedly would be my advice. I'm going to show you the room where I work now, my music room. So there you are. That's the piano stool where I sit, and there is the piano, my Bechstein. And this is the music room. I've lots of nice paintings around the walls. I'm into art. I love all of that. And there would be a couple of cellos and some CDs, and there's a very important thing for me, the fire. I wouldn't ever have central heating on in a room with a piano of this age or with the cello. So even in the summer, to light a fire, I think, there's great comfort in that. The heat issue sometimes is almost secondary. So I hope I have addressed some of the questions that the Linenhall Arts Centre put to me, and I really hope that, along with the West Ocean String Quartet, that we see you in the not too distant future, and I look forward very much to sharing the West Ocean's music with you. WestOceanStringQuartet.com is the website, and keep an eye on that for tour dates and for the album and other albums as well. And stay safe and stay well, and keep making music and keep making art. It is the only way forward in these very difficult times. Thank you all. Bye-bye.